Good morning. This is the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Weather Briefing for Friday, May 30th. This will be the last briefing based on smoke. We start fire weather operations Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week, and we'll eventually slide into 7-day outlooks as conditions warrant. Looking at fire activity, things are picking up. New fire starts in the red. Had a large one of a couple thousand acres up in southwest Idaho and another one the day before, so things definitely are picking up and will probably increase over the weekend as hotter, drier weather comes in before the wetness comes in. Kind of let the cat out of the bag here, but looking at precipitation amounts, it's been dry the past week. You see here on the left, overall precip amounts, this light shade of blue, just a few hundredths of an inch, and that's a lot of it's radar estimates. A lot of this doesn't even reach the ground. Probably just this stuff up here in the mountains of Idaho and into parts of western Wyoming was our only accumulating precipitation this past week. Bone dry, precipitation 0 to 10% of normal in most areas. Our fuels, 100-hour fuels, this golden area of mid to upper single digits has extended further northwards. Looking at our drought conditions, we continue to maintain extreme to even exceptional droughts in our extreme south, but even severe to moderate drought extending further northwards and also spreading from north to south from Montana into parts of our Idaho and Wyoming areas. Flash drought, though, the last 3 weeks, other than the past 7 days, it has been much cooler and wetter in the south. So, however, this whole picture is going to be changing very quickly with the hotter, drier weather coming in. And we see that with the ridge of high pressure building well up into southern Canada, dry air in place, but there'll be some little pockets of moisture, maybe some isolated lightning down in parts of western Nevada. And we're watching this little low pressure area here starting to pull up a little bit of monsoonal moisture, at least from the monsoonal direction. This is not your traditional monsoon, but southerly winds will bring up moisture from the south. We'll watch that. Good overall smoke dispersion in most areas except in the north. Under the dome of high pressure in Idaho, conditions will be quite hazy. Surface winds fairly light, mostly out of the north, more of the 5 to 10 mile an hour range at the surface. Humidity extremely dry in the south, mid to upper single digits, and in the teens further north. Looking at transport winds and mixing heights. Mixing heights, for the most part, in the south are the best, getting up to 7,000 feet. Fairly low, well, at least significantly lower in the north, maybe more on the 2,500 to 3,500 foot range. And our transport winds also northerly, but fairly light. High pressure remains in place Saturday, so when you're under the high, you get hotter temperatures. Low pressure pushing some of that moisture to our south. Looking at the wind field, again, fairly light winds most areas, except starting to increase off the Sierra front. Very dry humidities, those single digits extend up almost to the Idaho-Oregon border, teens further north. Transport winds also picking up in the far west, otherwise fairly light. Now we look at Sunday, and some of that moisture in the south is starting to spread further northward, so showers and some isolated thunderstorms will be popping up. May have to watch for some new ignitions after a couple of hot, dry days in some of our southern and western areas. Ventilation index looks pretty good. You'll notice the transport winds starting to increase a little bit, especially in the south. Some of this is with the outflow from thunderstorms, but there are pockets of stronger winds. Humidity finally starts to increase about 5 to 10% region-wide, but still in the low to mid-teens in the south. Now, the transport winds, these are actually significantly stronger. We'll have to watch these in the south, but of course, it is coming with higher humidity. Now, the 3-day overall precipitation totals, you can see some of the light to locally moderate amounts in the south starting to spread northwards. When you go further down the road, you see a cold front lined up through here, that thin green line, sharply cooler temperatures behind it, showers and thunderstorms ahead of it. Excellent overall ventilation index. Low pressure area, the one we've been talking about, continues to meander in the south of front, drags further south, so cooler air infiltrates much of the northern and central Great Basin. And then the low opens up and some more pockets of moisture for the middle to latter parts of the week in our southern and eastern areas. So some of the precipitation from Monday through Wednesday morning, you see some of these heavier amounts, half inch to an inch of rain where you see the blue. Snow level should be fairly high, but could see some on the peaks. And then precip still lingers in the eastern and southern areas on the 6 to 7 day outlook before it starts to exit. 7 day totals looking through here. So as dry as we are, we will get some modification in our fuels, except for parts of western Idaho and northwestern Nevada. So I'll have to watch those areas. And as we go beyond that into the June 6th to 12th period, above normal temperatures, and for the most part, drier than normal conditions across the geographic area, maybe more towards normal in the east. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.